if I get any decent footage of this. It's gonna be lucky, probably. I've had some really interesting experiences while I've been here in Mexico. I had this amazing realization 10 years ago that changed my life. I caught a message. That message and that realization was that I'm okay, and that you're okay, and that if we really understood what that meant, we would change the whole world with it. There was a couple weeks where my whole being lined up with it. All of me was in agreement about it. It permeated everything. But that faded. It didn't have the impact that it used to. And I spent the last 10 years acting and feeling most of the time like I wasn't okay. And I thought it was because I wasn't meditating enough or focusing on that truth or something like that. I think the reason that it really hasn't gotten through is because I suspect that I've been steamrolling the rest of myself. What I mean by that is that whenever I wasn't thinking or feeling or acting according to this, I judged myself for falling short. I was disappointed, I was frustrated. I tried to use my mind to force the rest of me to accept this higher truth. I wanted oneness, but I approached that goal like a dictator. I used negative reinforcement to make it happen, with the judgment and the bad feelings, having negative feelings about myself and saying, I'm not happy because I'm not actualized. I'm not happy because I'm not living the truth. And the funny thing is that I know better. I've written books that tell me to not do that to myself. It's the funniest thing in the world to have my former self, who's like 10 years younger than me, write books to tell me how to live my life, and me constantly fall short of that or not stand in the understanding that he had back then. Because he caught something that he didn't have to live yet, and I do, or I want to at least. I know that you have to realize your okayness even in your most un-okay state. That's when you need acceptance the most. When you judge yourself for not being okay, how is okayness supposed to come back to you? It's a downward cycle. And so like this dictatorial approach to getting the rest of me to line up with this truth that I had received, it was not successful. I had moments of conformity in my life where I was able to kind of suppress and work everything into agreement for the most part. But that was conformity, that wasn't unity. And there's been moments where my mind has been quiet and where I've felt the peace that I had. But those moments of silence have mostly been oppression as opposed to peace. I get the feeling that people here know I'm lost before I do. Start going the wrong way, start going down a street that only ends in a residential, in a house, then they know. If you don't live there, you're lost. You just don't know it yet. Now instead of approaching this like a dictator, I'm kind of approaching it like dangerous. A good CEO, which is that everyone has a place at the table, without judgment. Every feeling has a right to be here. Every thought gets to express itself without judgment. Every belief has a right to be heard. I'm really amazed at the results. I can't believe how much more I'm hearing in myself. I can't believe how many thoughts that I have been shutting out are now coming to the surface because I'm not judging them. Things that have been hidden in like a dark place have been showing up. They've had a chance to be heard. It's been amazing. If I have a belief that I'm afraid is true, or if I'm not sure if it's true, I bring it out in the light, in the fresh air. And it seems that the healthy beliefs thrive in the light and in the fresh air. And the things that aren't true, that have been growing in some dark, suppressed, damp type of place, once I bring those things out and go, okay, let's let that thing sit there for a while, we'll see what it does. Those things seem to die. It's amazing how they just kind of wither when they're unhealthy beliefs or they're not true. And sometimes they don't do anything. They just remain what they were, but they're not suppressed. I'm not hiding myself from them. And so they just don't feel like a threat to me. The ultimate goal of all of this is to create unity within myself. I have been living a compartmentalized life for a long time. Forever. Just forever, however long that is. And this is where we get into ego. I guess we'll call it ego. I have had this relationship with ego that has been very unhealthy. It's one of the things that I try to overpower, try to suppress. I've judged.
All right, let's see what down feels like.
The results have been pretty damning. I realized recently that the reason that my ego was acting up so much is because that's the only way that it ever got attention. So I've been like a bad parent to my ego. And I have demanded that it almost be extinct in my life. I've tried to basically starve it to death, and it's not worked. Not successful. And I just said, I see you, I acknowledge you, you have a right to be here, you have a right to speak, you have a place at the table. I kind of was having like a vision at the time, and it collapsed on the ground, went off into a corner, and just laid down. It was like for the first time, it got exactly what it needed from me. And so it didn't need to fight so hard for my attention all the time. And that was a part of me that, because of the way that I suppressed it, because of the way that I treated it, it hadn't matured. That's what I'm finding out. These areas of my life or myself that I don't acknowledge, they're not maturing. And so they're not keeping up with other parts of me. And I understood that this part of me had some catching up to do now. As I acknowledge it, as I give it air, space, light, that it will grow into what it's supposed to be instead of being the child throwing a temper tantrum all the time. And so that's a part of me that I need to bring into unity with myself. That's the hope. I don't even want to make this a goal for my life or tell these other parts of me that I have expectations about you. I just want them to do what they do. I want them to have the freedom to fulfill their purpose the way that they're designed to fulfill their purpose.
Oh shit. Oh, this is slippery. Oh my god. All right. Well, those are stairs. Where were we? I think we were about to slide down a mountain.